Welcome back to another episode of the Cape Copcasts. I'm one of your hosts, Lisa Greenberg.
And I'm Officer Mercedes Simons. Together we make up the Public Affairs Office. And today we have K9 Officer Matt Mills and Aramis in here too.
Yes.
We'll see how he behaves today.
Super excited to have you. You have a super unique position within our police department. So I have been telling Mercedes for a while, we got to get you on the podcast. She did a fun video with you for Police Week. And I'm like, you'd be a good podcast guest. So I'm glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
So I guess let's start with Aramis. Tell us a little bit about K9 Aramis.
So Aramis is a 6.5-year-old Belgian Malinois. We got him in 2021 when I joined the K9 unit. Originally, he's from Czech Republic.
Wow.
So he's a pretty rambunctious dog still, even at 6, about to be 7 on the 19th. So he's getting up there in age, but still workaholic, just like me. Wants to get out there and work, wants to get out there and do fun stuff. And, you know, I take him now, we get to take him to the schools and stuff. So he has, like you said, a unique job where he's enjoying and able to be pet and still do the job that he needs to do. Right.
And I didn't mean to start with the dog over you. Obviously, you're
all
very
good.
important, but you know, people love to hear about the dog. So
do.
you've been with the department for how long?
Starting my 20th year here pretty soon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
20 years. I didn't know
Wow.
that either. That's incredible.
Yeah.
You've held a few different positions in that time. Obviously,
Yes.
a long time here means there's been a lot of different moves that you've made. Where did you start and kind of how did you end up where you're at now?
So I started in 2007, and this show's on patrol. Was in patrol for a while. Started liking traffic for a little while, so I did a stint in traffic back in 2008, 2009. Came back to patrol. They were kind of rotating officers in to see if they liked that position. So I did that for a little while, stuck with that, and then ended up on, we had a street crimes team, or we had a power shift before that. So I was moving to power shift, and that was a 2-to-2 shift.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of came in to help alleviate the extra calls in between the two shift transitions, night shift and day shift. So we were there to help alleviate that with the overflow of calls. So I did that for a little while, and then ended up on the street crimes team, which was called Met Mobile Enforcement Team. So was on that for a little while. Due to staffing issues, that kind of got disbanded. So we went back to patrol, and then from there, I tried out for the K9 team and made the K9 unit, made that in 2020.
And that's when you got Aramis.
Yes.
And what's interesting about your position now is you're a mix between being on the K9 unit, of course, you have a K9, but you're also within the schools.
Yes. A year and a half, or about 2 years ago now, worked on transitioning, getting the K9 into the schools. Obviously, we have a need with narcotics, and they're eventually working towards getting possibly a black powder dog or a therapy dog, I believe, in the unit. So that could be coming in the future. But right now, Aramis is a narcotics trained K9. So with us, we go to different schools, high schools mainly. We'll do narcotic sniffs. If they need it in middle schools, obviously we have an uptick with vapes and things like that in schools. So Aramis is on marijuana, so he's able to sniff out the vapes, the THC. So I'll have him, we can do backpack sniffs, things like that nature. And Ida Baker, they had their grad bash. Mm-hmm. They go to Busch Gardens. Mm-hmm. So myself and the sergeant of the unit, Sergeant DeRosa, were there, and all the kids will come out, and then they have to lay out their bags, and the dogs will sniff their bags, make sure they're not bringing anything they don't need to with them on the trip. So I'm able to do that, and then we go around all the different city organizations, camps. Today I actually have a demo with Aramis at a adult special needs group down in Southwest Cape, so I'll be down there today. So we kind of go around, we do demos. I'll work with PAL, our Police Athletic League. I was just at the youth center yesterday doing a demo for, it was like 15, 4 and 5-year-olds. So,
wow.
It kind of ranges, and that's what's good about Aramis is he's able to be in the schools. He's able to turn it on when he needs to turn it on to do the work, but he's also he has a really good disposition of being pet. So, he can be around, love on you. And
yeah, that is perfect because a lot of the different K9 officers have different relationships. Some dogs, they train and they're specifically focused work dogs. You go to work, you sniff, you bite, and we put you back and you're ready to go when we bring you out again, versus having other dogs that have more of a friendly temperament. Yep. Because there are some of our canines that I'm like, I don't really want to go pet you. I'm just going to stay over here. But then there are other dogs that it's like, you're so excited to see, and they're excited to see you. And Aramis is one of those dogs. So it's always fun when he comes around because he's got it all.
He's so sweet.
He's pretty good. Yeah, I've really enjoyed having him. We've had him, like I said, since January of 21 is when we got him. And in the beginning, it's tough because you don't know these dogs from anything. So when we get them, I mean, my family, I have little kids, and I didn't bring the girls around him until he was almost probably with us about 6 months. And then, I mean, they saw him obviously, but they didn't really have much interaction because we don't know how they're going to interact.
Yeah.
And it's a slow transition of bringing them into your family and, making them part of your family. So, but now here we are all these years later, and he's a great family dog, and he's an absolute phenomenal working dog. I mean, it's just incredible what that dog does.
It's so interesting too, because I was just having this conversation about school resource officers, how you have to be the man or woman who is, friendly to the kids, loving on the kids, is that person that kids feel they can trust and turn to, but also be able to turn on a dime and go into work mode. And if there's a threat, be able to meet that threat. And it's the same thing with Aramis. I mean, you have to have that friendly demeanor that, I can pet you and love on you and hug you. But also if you need to work, like you're going to pivot quickly and be able to handle that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I dealt with that a little bit when I was working as the SRO at Trafalgar Middle School, and same thing. You'll be in the middle of a meeting with your admin team, and then a medical call or something like that comes out, and now we're running on. There's several times we had one of our girls, was prone to seizures, so for a while, I mean, we were going to her multiple times a week. So you'd be in the middle of just doing whatever, lunch, and here you are now responding to a medical call and helping out our kids. So it is an extremely important role on both sides.
Yeah. What do things look like now that we're coming into summer and school's not in session? Do you have does your role change? Do you have different job obligations now that you're looking at?
Yeah. So all the SROs, we still have, obviously schools just don't shut down. There's summer schools. There's different programs and different camps that all the schools run. So our FSROs will go in different functions. Like I said, Police Athletic League, they run a lot of camps. So that is, big hands on deck. They have summer camps. So there's normally anywhere from 5 to 7 SROs that'll go and help out with those summer camps because, that's all summer long. It's 2 months. So they need a lot of different hands on deck with that. Cause they go on different trips and do different programs. Pal puts on the football through Oasis Middle School, Oasis High School helps put that football pro summer camp on. So I'll help out with that.
Yeah. If people are looking for a summer camp for your kid, I think we're still taking and looking for people in our football camp. And that's always really fun, really successful. All the kids love it. Yep. There can be girls, boys, you name it, and you learn essential skills. It gets your kids out of the house for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And the kids love it. The kids love it. A few hours in the the beginning of the day. It's still warm, but there's plenty of water breaks and stuff like that, and they feed the kids. And yeah, I did it last year. It was a great time. The kids loved it. So, and again, continuing on with some of that stuff is, for Aramis and I, we'll go to the different camps. I have, I think right now, at least 10 to 12 different demos set up throughout the summer at different camps. So we'll go to that. Also with our SROs in the summer, we're still not off duty, so we need to go secure our campus, make sure if there's any storms, we go and we'll check on the campus, make sure there's no fencing damage or building damage, and then we can get with the school admin or the building super and make sure that those things get handled throughout the summer. They'll meet with their admin team from time to time. So, and it is also our downtime or the SRO's downtime, so they'll take their vacations that they couldn't take throughout the school year. So, that's the other thing with a lot of people don't realize is SRO, you're there 9 months out of the year or 8 months out of the year, however long school is in session, but then you're not really allowed to take vacations. So those vacations will come in the summer. So that's when they kind of, burn all your time per se.
For sure. Yeah. It's a serious job. And all the SROs take it very seriously where they are working on those days that they are in school. So it is a good time for them to kind of take a step back for y'all to get the breaks that you need.
Yeah.
And training. I think they do a lot of essential training that they can't get during the school year too. And that actually is pretty time consuming when done right, especially since SROs require a different level of training, a different type of training than you see with your regular patrol officers. But in terms of juveniles and summer break, we usually see a little bit of an uptick in different things like vehicle burglaries and different crimes because they're not doing homework, they're not in school, and they're not very good at entertaining themselves, I guess. Yeah. So what's our plan with that? Are we doing something?
So we have some plans in place to set up, and we do have juveniles that have gotten in trouble that are on probation. So we're monitoring those with the juvenile probation officers. We just had a operation probation a few weeks ago where we came in and had to do drug screening with some of the ones that are on probation. So we're going to continue to work with that. There's a couple officers that are starting kind of a unit to work on that throughout the summer. And the other day we tasked a few different officers that are going to help out with that and just kind of monitor them throughout the summer. If there's any issues, then we'll go and handle it and talk to them. And, not only is it, we're not looking to get these kids in trouble, it's also a mentoring thing, right? So we're trying to bring them back to, hey, probation is kind of your first real punishment. We need to get you out of that probation and move on to getting back on the, straight and narrow path.
For
get
sure.
you back in school. Because a lot of these kids, when they do get in trouble, they have to leave school and go to an alternative school until they've completed some of these programs and they can get back in general population of school. So that's ultimately is the goal, is getting these kids back to where they need to be and getting back on the path. So whether it's getting them in some of these camps, or sometimes there's just things that we can't do or we can't help out, and those kids we just got to monitor.
For sure. I am curious, taking it back to Aramis, what's your guys' dynamic like? I mean, you kind of mentioned that now he's more involved with your family. He is somewhat a family dog, but he's also a working dog. So I'm curious, like, what the dynamic at home is like and when you are at home with your family with Aramis.
So, I mean, like I said, he's a Belgian Malinois, so he's the kind of the crazy cousin of the shepherd. And I think we kind of joke that he's a Sheppenois, and he's got a little bit of shepherd in him, and that's where that good demeanor comes in. But that crazy work ethic of a Malinois is still there, so there's no downtime. I mean, we get home, I run him when he gets out of the car just to stretch his legs a little bit. We'll come in, I'll get out of my uniform, and then he's out of his uniform per se, and then playing. But I mean, he'll run around he just does laps. He'll sit down for a little bit. He's got his Kong that he chews on. And then he hears a noise and he's up doing laps again. So, I mean, that's just an all-day thing until he goes to bed tonight. So, the kids play with him. He'll be outside running around. Kids will play with him, lay on him, and he's perfectly fine. But he's just an interesting character, to say the least.
It's so unique to me because, say you're on patrol, you go home from your shift and you're able to take off your vest and get into relax mode and you get to kind of just decompress from it all and kind of separate. But when you take your working dog home with you every night, the work continues. You have to run these dogs. You have to keep them in good shape. You have to make sure that they, do all the things that they need to do to continue to be a good working dog. And it almost blurs that line between work life and home life.
Yeah, there's no really, downtime. I mean, for police in general, when you're off duty, are you really off duty?
Right.
You're driving somewhere and you see an accident, you're going to stop and, try to render it. But the same thing goes
Which
for
you've
K9.
done. You got a life-saving award last year for.
Things happen, but it's the same thing with the K9 handler. The work does not stop. I mean, it is constant training. And, just from little things, if they're not paying attention in the house, and you may need to work with them with that, just, general obedience or just being around anybody. Because, again, these dogs are trained. Aramis was a patrol apprehension dog, so he is still a bite dog. So it's still one of those things in the back of my mind of even walking in my neighborhood or walking around. There's things that I have to pay attention to and got to make sure that I mitigate any risk. It just doesn't stop. So it's you got to be part of a family, but at the same token, you still have this dog, right? So the dog is kind of number one, not number one, but really, part of that number one of the family, because what people don't understand is the good thing about K9 and the bad thing about K9 is we get the dog, but the dogs make messes. The dogs get sick. So it's just like anybody. If I'm sick, if the dog's sick, we still got to clean that up. Yep. So I'll wake up in the middle of the night and there'll be a foul smell in the house. Well, guess what? I may be, now I'm outside cleaning his kennel for the next couple hours because he's gotten sick. So it's just like a child, it's having another child at the house. So
I know. I was almost going to compare it like we're work partners, but at the end of the day, like she goes to her house and I go to my house. But it is more like having a child because you have to take care of the dog.
Yeah,
like
well, it's just like
child.
Vacations too. I just can't up and leave and go on vacation on a whim because now I have a canine that I have to make sure is
right. And you can't just
somebody's watching them.
Well, and you can't just board him at Tiki Tails. No. Like he's got to go with someone probably.
Yeah, one of our former canine handlers, Officer Clapp, he's got a nice setup at his house, and he's able to keep him. So we use him, and then we have a couple other specific people that we use. Our veterinarian, Dr. Kerr, they have a kennel there, so we can kennel them there. Aramis is great at Clapp's house, so it's nice to have him there. It's somebody that I know and can trust. And at any given time, if he needs to take him to the vet, if something happens, it's not an issue. You know,
Yep.
he can handle it too.
But he doesn't torture Clap's chickens.
No, he stays away from the chickens.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I didn't know you had chickens.
He's
That's
got a big.
awesome.
He's got a big farm.
Very cool. So that's
he
a
and the-
perfect
He and
spot.
the cows kind of meet at the fence sometimes and have some words.
I love that.
That is so awesome. You did great.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You're perfect for this kind of stuff. Thank you so much for coming onto the
You're welcome.
podcast.
Thank you guys for having me.
And we will catch you next time. See you later.
Yep. Stay safe. Thank you for listening to the Cape Copcast, where we dive into the heart of the Cape Coral Police Department safety initiatives, community relations, and the insightful stories of different officers that make up our department.
Please like and share our podcast. If you have feedback, you can email capepdpao@capecoral.gov. And remember to follow us on social media. Our handle is @CapePD on all major platforms. Stay safe, stay Cape.